Welcome back to Nutrition Mnemonics. Today we are going to be reviewing laws that are pertinent to HR when it comes to management and nutrition. These laws are going to show up on the RDN exam, so let's learn them together. The National Labor Relations Act, other known as the Wagner Act. This act allowed employees to create and participate in labor unions. It also allowed for unions to gain bargaining power, and it resulted in the creation of the National Labor Relations Board. Here is your mnemonic. A Labrador wags its tail because he is so excited to be elected as the new union leader. Unfortunately, dogs can't speak English, so in order to complete bargains, the dog must bark. Bargain, bark. The Taft-Hartley Labor Act, or the Labor Management Act of 1947. This act came about to improve upon the Wagner Act. Its purpose was to balance the power between the laborers and between the managers of the laborers. It made closed shops forbidden, and it allowed for the government to intervene whenever a strike posed danger to the safety of the population. The purpose of the act was also to target unfair practices that were going on within unions. I picture somebody eating Laffy Taffy and also trying to negotiate the relationship between laborers and managers. And the reason that they're eating Laffy Taffy is because Taft-Hartley labor, so the L from the labor for the Laffy, and then the Taft-Taffy. The Landrum-Griffin Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act of 1959. This act helped with organization and stability within a union. I picture a company whose whole purpose is to do laundry, and they form a labor union, and they want to make sure that all of the colors are coordinated and the different types of material, it's all organized. Landrum sounds like laundry, and let's assume that the manager of this company is named Griffin. Also, disclosure sounds like disclothes or laundry clothes. Then we have the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This was created to prevent discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin. The Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1972. This prevents discrimination in employment based upon race, color, religion, sex, national origin, which makes sense because they are trying to make the playing field equal amongst the differing demographics, hence equal employment opportunity. The Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. This created a minimum wage. It established time and a half for when employees were working more than 40 hours per week. And this act created child labor laws. There is a fair, like a county fair, and everyone who is working at this fair is making minimum wage. Whether they are in charge of the merry-go-round, or they are in charge of the Ferris wheel, or they're selling popcorn, or whatever it may be, they are all making minimum wage. Many kids apply to work there, but the manager says, no, I can't hire you because you're a kid. And we have child labor laws, so deal with it. Then we have the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993. For a workplace that employs at least 50 people, this act allows for an individual to leave work for up to 12 weeks within a 12-month span in the event of an adoption taking place, having a baby, a family member that has a health condition that needs help, or if the employee themselves is experiencing a health condition that needs to be dealt with. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. This applies to facilities with at least 15 employees. It required the facility to put specific accommodations into place in the event that an employee or a customer or whoever it may be has a disability and needs that accommodation. Examples include wide aisles and doors, ramps, lower shelves and phones, and flashing alarm lights. When job descriptions are created, they must specify any tasks that are essential in the event that this would end up excluding someone with a disability. When I think of the American with Disabilities Act, I think of the documentary Crip Camp, which is about a group of young adults and teenagers from the 1970s that attended a summer camp for individuals with disabilities. And many of those people ended up becoming essential to the movement of passing the Americans with Disabilities Act. Before, I used to assume that the politicians were the ones behind this, but after seeing this documentary, I learned that it was the people that were being directly affected by it that were pushing and pushing and pushing for change and spent years not being listened to or helped. There is a particular scene where an 8-year-old in a wheelchair was crawling up the steps of the Capitol, and he was crying as he was crawling, but he stopped and turned to the camera and said, if this is what I have to do to get politicians' attention to understand that we need accommodations and we need help, then I'm gonna do it. And then he kept crawling. So the American with Disabilities Act is very important, and there are a lot of people that put in the work and sacrifice to get this act to be passed. HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. When employees change jobs and they are currently getting coverage for existing health conditions, they can expect that coverage for that health condition at their next job as well, thanks to this act. The Affordable Care Act of 2010 allows for a greater number of individuals in America to access health insurance. The Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. This act requires the workplace to be safe for employees and customers and management and whoever is present. I did not come up with mnemonics and stories for all of these because some of them were kind of just included in the title, like the Healthcare Portability Act. Portable means it can move around, healthcare means healthcare, so like that makes sense. Or like the Civil Rights Act, it came about during a very heated and important moment of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, so that one kind of made sense to me. But we do have some mnemonics in there, and I know it can be really scary to look at these laws and accept that you're gonna have to memorize them for the RDN exam, but they're not as intimidating as you may think they are. And we're gonna be okay. We for sure are gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this together. You're doing really well. You're really smart. Thank you for coming. Like and subscribe, please, and have a great day. I'm very proud of you.